This is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report. Show number 334 for Thursday, June 6th.
Wow. Yeah. D-Day.
What?
It's D-Day.
Is it D-Day?
Yes, sir.
I did not realize that.
Yes, sir.
Maybe that explains why things are not working right.
Oh, yeah.
Scott Hammer, Ron Miller coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter from the Dominator Race Product Studio. Hammer Down Racing Report, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. On the program tonight, we'll be speaking with late model modified sprint car, Silver Crown car,
entrepreneur,
driver, manufacturer, Brian Ruhlman.
Yeah.
Did I cover everything? There's probably more.
I'm sure there's more.
Does he still go by the Porpoise?
I don't know.
That's his nickname. I think that's what Rick Exelman used to call him. Anywho, had some issues with some cameras. You want to see something cool? If you're watching us, very psychedelic. Not sure what's going on with that, but we'll figure that out. We'll just use it. That's why we have more than one camera.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Plan
B.
Yeah, hashtag DCR if you would like a shot at winning that final computer game custom car design for a late model, or for, it's the 80th of D-Day, or a modified for the upcoming game Hammer Down Dirt Racing, something like that. I think that's the working title. Comes out in November. DCR Graphics doing the designs of those cars. You don't have to have a car. He can make one up for you, or he can make one that looks like a car. But, yeah. And if you don't win, you can hit him up for $20 and he'll put one together.
And please, if you don't, if you're not a gamer, don't do the hashtag DCR.
Yeah, because this is the last one,
right?
For
we'd hate for somebody to lose out
that's
really
a big gaming fan,
really wants
Absolutely.
to do it,
and we're bringing back the stickers next week for them. Yeah.
More stickers.
Got to mention Ron Miller Race Cars in Lambertville, Michigan. He's got race cars, parts, safety equipment, service, trailer fabricating, everything a racer needs. Give him a call, 734-856-7223. Anything new at the shop?
Just busy.
I haven't been up there in a while.
Just busy.
It's nice not having to take anything up there for a while.
Yeah, and the good thing is I didn't have to do anything major to my truck this week.
That's because you weren't driving it.
That's right. Jamie Miller was very nice to it.
And where'd he finish? He finished
second. He started dead last, got to second, passed for the lead a couple of times. He and Sean Valenti had what I would call a spirited race for like 5 laps.
It's a capable truck, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay. Also got to mention Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race. Full show coming up this weekend. Last weekend things we got up until the features, and then just started. It was raining the whole time, real lightly, just enough to keep the track nice for the most part.
Yeah.
Right up until feature time, then it
got
shined
ugly.
up really bad. Yeah, and we actually kind of left it up to the late models on the track. They're like, if you guys think we can race on this, stay on the track. If you think we've lost the track, head back to the pits.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
So it took like a lap or two, and then they headed back to the pits. So, yeah. So double features this weekend for the compacts and the DCR Graphic Sportsman.
Right.
They switched it. Originally, it was announced, because I know the announcer guy, it was announced it was going to be late models this weekend, but they decided to change that after it was announced.
Because of
I don't know the reasoning.
Functions at another racetrack?
Possibly, but I don't think so, because I don't think any of the drivers that were there were going to be at a function at another racetrack this weekend. But in any case, it's a full show plus double features for the DCR Graphic Sportsman and the makeup features for the compacts as well.
And then
the late models and super stocks will be the following weekend.
Well, that'll be a big show.
What would that be? The 15th, I think? Yeah. So also coming up at Oakshade this summer, Summer Nationals.
Somebody's in the green room.
Yeah, I see him.
Ooh, that's exciting.
July 13th, the Summer Nationals coming to Oakshade on Saturday, July 13th, along with the Summit Racing Equipment Modifieds. The 1,000 to win Papa Boiler Spectacular in September. That's September 14th, as a matter of fact. Keep up to date and everything going on there, including those makeup things by visiting oakshaderaceway.com or follow them on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok.
Okay.
I want to see you on TikTok.
Yeah. Ain't gonna
Of course,
happen.
that would require me to have TikTok to be able to see you on TikTok.
Yeah.
So that's,
Won't happen.
And finally, DCR Graphics, your vinyl racing graphics provider. DCR does full wraps, partial wraps, number decals, sponsor decals of just about any kind. They, as we mentioned earlier, currently running that special for the upcoming computer game called Hammer Down Dirt Track Racing for $20. It'll get you your very own custom designed car, virtual car in the game, either a late model or modified. He can model it after an existing car, or if you just have an idea and you want to put it together, you can work with him. $20. He'll build you a car virtually. That's DCR Graphics. You can call or text Dale 419-308-9523 and check him out on Facebook, facebook.com/DCR Graphics, and also your exclusive supplier of Hammer Down Racing Report stickers to join the Hammer Down Army.
That's right.
Which I forgot to check. We'll talk about that later. Also, got to mention Dominator Race Products, Dittman Motorsports, Freeze Frame Photos, Victory Fuel, Magic Moment Entertainment, all sponsoring us as well.
Product
I forgot it was thirsty, yeah.
Was that product placement?
That was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get to Brian, we'll go through our
I
racing
wonder if Brian's on TikTok.
roundup. We'll ask him. Let's do our racing roundup from last weekend, and then we'll get to Mr. Brian Ruhlman.
Racing Roundup.
Attica Raceway Park, Friday night. Cale Thomas picking up the win in the 410s. Kyle Moore getting a late model win, and Jamie Miller a win in the 305s. Limaland. I got to go down to Limaland on Friday. Brian actually was racing down there with the Great Lakes Traditional Sprints.
Really? That's cool.
Big crowd down there. It was their opening night, too.
Oh,
First show of the season. But Braden Clark picking up the win in the Great Lakes Traditional Sprint feature. Daniel Sanchez, very happy to win that in the modifieds. Braden Weller, Thunderstock feature winner, was also the Keyser Memorial race. He was the first UNOH student winner of that event in, I forget how many years it's been, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and it was it was weird. We were down on the track, and there's like an army of UNOH kids back in the pits.
Yep.
That army comes out of the chute there onto the track across. It was like an amoeba just coming out and swarming him in on the front stretch there. It was a pretty cool sight. Joey Hayter also picking up the win in the Dirt Track Truck Series. Jerry Keyser racing in that. He started on the outside of the front row and slipped back. I think he finished about mid-pack. He didn't have the motor as some of the other guys. But Oakshade Raceway, rain after the heat races, as we mentioned before, on Saturday night, so double features.
I heard the announcer there won his heat race, though.
No, he didn't.
You didn't win a heat race?
Not this week. This was the first week I didn't win a heat race.
I thought you were staying perfect.
Nope.
Oh, disappointing.
I was sliding around in the slick and did not win. But double features coming up for Sportsman Compacts this weekend. Next weekend, double features for late models and super stocks at Oakshade Fremont. Saturday night, barely getting the show in, according to Mr. Ron Miller there. Before the rains came, Caleb Henry picking up his first ever 410 win. Jamie Miller winning in the 305, so a pretty good weekend for Jamie Miller.
Yeah.
And then Sean Valenti beating out Jamie Miller in the dirt trucks there at Fremont on Saturday. Angola Motorsports Speedway, they succumbed to the rain. Flat Rock Speedway, it is windy outside. It is. You hear the blinds rattling there. Flat Rock Speedway, Sawyer Stout picking up the win in the 350 Outlaw Modified Series. RJ Cornett finished second in his debut with that.
from I think from 10th.
Did he start that deep?
Scott, he was the quick qualifier, and he set the 6th fastest time that's ever been recorded at Flat Rock Speedway.
In his first time in one of those.
Ever in that car.
Jeremy Vanderhoof picking up the win in the street stocks, Dale Buttery in the factory stocks, and Josh Indig in the Great Lakes Legends. Butler Motor Speedway, Saturday night. They tried to get it in. Didn't happen because of the rain, so they did it Sunday. And James McFadden picking up the win in the High Limit Racing Series Mace Thomas Classic there.
Interesting race to watch.
It was pretty interesting.
I liked it.
I didn't know there was a treehouse there.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favorite part of the whole whole broadcast.
I didn't know that it was 3 floors.
That was awesome.
I thought it was just 1 floor, but we both learned something.
We did. The Kubota High Limit Racing Series also in action Friday night at Lawrenceburg Speedway. Kyle Larson picking up the win there. Tuesday night, Davenport Speedway, just the other night, was rained out. Lorraine Raceway Park, Saturday night, Josh Way picking up the win in the Street Stocks, Hayden Nails and the Chargers. Dan Smith picking up the Pure Stock win. Brad Copen winning the CRS Truck Series feature event. World of Outlaw, NOS Energy Drink, Sprint Car Series action, Beaver Dam Raceway. Friday night, Sheldon Hodenshield picking up the win. Saturday night's action got rained out. NASCAR racing this weekend, the Truck Series at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Corey Heim picking up the win Saturday. Also Saturday, the Xfinity Series out in Portland at Portland International Raceway. And Shane Van Gisbergen picks up his first Xfinity win.
I didn't catch that.
No, you didn't?
That's pretty cool. On a road course.
Yeah, not surprised. Still needs to pick up an oval win, but Cup Series at Worldwide Technology Raceway. On Sunday, Austin Cindric picking up the win as Blaney ran out of fuel coming to the white flag.
What a heartbreaker.
Had no indications that was going to happen. So I was like, surprise. Scott Dixon picking up the Detroit Grand Prix win for NTT IndyCar Series action. A couple other notes here before we get to Brian. Hudson O'Neal won the rain-shortened American Late Model Ironman Series feature at Atomic Speedway on Saturday night. Race was shortened to 33 laps when a light shower began to fall, ending the rest of the night's events. And Castle Flow Racing Night in America, scheduled for last night at Eldora, was postponed due to the rain, and that's going to be rescheduled at a later date. But there will be racing tonight as it's the Dream Weekend.
Right.
I believe that starts at 8, so we're going to try and wrap things up a little early tonight. Yeah.
Hopefully be done by 8.
Hammer Down Army drivers, James Stamper finished first in his heat. Karen Van Pelt fourth in her box stock lights at Palmyra. And I think I finished fourth in my heat. So, yeah, it was slippery. I got stuck on the inside, and that was the part that was slippery until I could move up. But anywho, let's bring on this week's guest, Mr. Brian Ruhlman. Bring him up here, and I apologize. Whoops. Wait.
What'd you do?
I don't know what I did. There you are. Brian. Oh, okay, you are there. We can hear you. It's going all right, except for I'm a little psychedelic with my camera. That's why we were kind of hiding that. But we'll just make you bigger, or Ron bigger. There we go.
One of us.
Yeah. So what's the latest with Brian Ruhlman and Ruhlman Race Cars? What's been going on?
Oh, we've just been trying to get customer stuff done so we can, keep the doors open and afford to go play with our own stuff. We haven't been running much, been kind of raining, and we're just picking and choosing. So if it looks like rain, we're probably going to just stay home. And so we've had a few nights we could have raced, but didn't. But, right now it's more important to stay at the shop and work. And if it's bright and sunny, then we'll go racing.
You were down in Florida earlier this year, I believe. I saw with the modified, right?
Yeah, we had the USAC sprint car and the modified down there. Okay. And we won one night with the first night. And we had 4 or 5 nights that were in the top 5. So we had a pretty good week there.
That was with the mod, Brian?
Made both of the big... I'm sorry, Ron?
That was with the modified? Or the sprint car?
Yeah, the modified. The sprint car, we made both of the USAC shows Monday night. Monday we got in through the beginning. Tuesday we led 7 of the 8 laps of the heat race, and Kevin Thomas Jr. got by me on the last lap. But our goal was to make the features. There's a pretty big depth of competition in those USAC shows.
Now, last week we were talking dirt late models and trying to keep the cost down, trying to come up with ideas of keeping the cost down for dirt late models. We were going to have you on, but you were racing at Pittsburgh last Thursday night. Let me ask you this first. Have you raced the late model at all this year?
We took it out one night at I-96 and had a right rear tire explode running third and tore a bunch of stuff underneath the car. So haven't had time to put it back together yet. So then we broke a motor in the modified at Butler the one night. We just got it back together for the show at Pittsburgh. And so it's we're working on our own stuff a lot more than I would like to.
Sounds like it's been an expensive season so far.
Yeah, not ideal, but I've been doing this. This will be my 39th year, and it comes, the good comes with the bad.
Darn rookies.
So Ron says you have some ideas as far as trying to keep the costs. I don't know if you caught any of our show last week, but we had the Ryans on, Ryan Markham, Ryan Missler. Kind of sharing some ideas as far as, I know Arrow was brought up. What else did we talk about?
Tires.
Reducing the droop, the tires.
Right.
And it seems like the general consensus is it's the top teams in the World of Outlaws Lucas Oil Series that are kind of they get their way as far as the rules go.
It's kind of a matter of the inmates running the asylum.
Yeah, and kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that, and if you had any ideas on how things might get fixed, or if it's even fixable at this point.
With your engineering background and as much racing as you do, I'm sure you've got some good ideas.
Well, I've preached till I was blue in the face, and nobody seems to want to listen. I think there's some pretty cheap, easy, quick solutions that'll drive the cost down. And one thing is, every time you make a change, it costs everybody money. So, whether you change to a cheaper tire, well, now you've got guys that race on used tires that, the people that are making the decisions don't really grasp the weekly racer and how much of a shoestring most of the guys are on. Even guys, myself, I don't have a lot of money. I've made some pretty good life choices, and I've got most of my retirement is in race cars and haulers. So seem like we're invested in the stock market, but one thing I hear is, oh, you got these big haulers. The big haulers are costing money. Well, what people don't realize is that the haulers are probably the best investment in racing. They are hands down the only thing you're going to make money on in racing. If you take care of your stuff and that. So what size hauler a guy has, immaterial. Aerodynamics is the problem. And how it loads the engines. If right now you can run a motor maybe 10 to 15 shows, and it's going to cost you, $15,000 to rebuild it. If you have top-notch stuff. Now, the motor I have it was built in 1998. So it's, it's an older motor, but it's what I have. And it has no business being at Eldora for the Dream of the World. But that's the piece that I can afford. And, so to go there or any big track and just run wide open lap after lap after lap is just so hard on equipment. I think looking at it, I don't know if there's one golden solution that's going to fix everything. But I thought this the other day. We all pay $125 for a UMP membership. We all ought to get a vote on anything that changes or ideas that change in the to the rules, to the procedures, to the tire rule. It seems like rules are being changed and that for us, but we don't have any say in it. And I think the majority of us are, weekly racers. There's 50 guys that are doing it for a living that can spend more than what you can make, but they're not going to keep the industry going. It's all us guys, all the guys that that race every week and are paying full price for the stuff that these few prima donnas get for free. So they need to start listening to the weekly racers.
Brian,
actually, if you look at the cost of what.
One of the things that Ryan and Ryan were adamant about last week is that there's no way the touring series can come to your track with their 12 cars. And with the dwindling fields, they felt that something had to be done.
They said that basically they need the local drivers there to fill that field out, and if those go away, then
Brian would hate to be counted as a field filler, but quite honestly, when they come to your track, his 1998 engine is going to be lacking. Your turn.
Well, and that's whether it's a Ryan Markham, a Ryan Missler, a Devin Shields, a Rusty Schlenk, myself, we are field fillers. When they come to town, if you go to I wouldn't even think of going to a World of Outlaw or a Lucas race. You're racing for start money at best. And, what a lot of people don't look at is what these things cost to race. And, a dirt late model right now costs about $50 a lap to race. If you look at the entire cost, if you ran 100 races over a year and divided the cost of what you spent to what, divided that by the laps, these cars cost $50 a lap to run. So if you go and run 50 laps, you better be able to make $2,500. Otherwise, you're going to walk away with less than you showed up with. Which is why, we only run maybe 5 or 6 shows, but it shows that I know I can go to. I'm not going to have to buy tires. I'm not going to get torn up. I can make some money, and I can't afford to go and lose money. At this point in my career, I don't need to race. I like to race to have fun, and I'd like to at least come home with what I left with.
What about you've been running the sprint cars quite a bit? How are the costs? Are they similar to? Are they cheaper than running the dirt late model? How do they compare from the sprints to running your modified to the dirt late models? And does that factor into it as far as how much it costs per lap as to what you're going to race?
Yes, and actually, there's a good argument with the sprint cars because we run a non-wing sprint car. And if you look at the cost to run a wing sprint car versus a non-wing sprint car, the difference is the load on the motors because you don't have the aerodynamic downforce. Those guys can run their motors 10 to 15 shows. Same thing. They got to get them freshened. They're paying $55,000 to $60,000 for a motor. On a non-wing car, we can take and buy used motors that aren't good enough to run in a wing car. And I ran one motor 4 seasons. And without rebuilding it. To build a sprint car, I have less money in 3 sprint cars turnkey than I have in one dirt late model. The maintenance is less. They're a blast. I wish I would have got into these 20 years ago.
So why are the sprint cars so much less expensive than the dirt late models? Is it just the motor for the most part?
Well, no. First off, the car weighs 1,200 pounds, so there's only half the stuff on the car, you don't have all the you have. Like, let's say we pay $40,000 for a used motor for a sprint car. That comes with the oil tank. It comes with the ignition system. It comes with all the peripherals. You buy a late model now, you got to buy a $2,000 oil tank and an oil cooler and a oil pump that's $2,500. And there's, transmissions $3,000 and the drive shaft and even the bodies on these things now. We're using these.
Uh-oh. I feel like I'm in a white zombie.
Oh, I think he's back.
Zombie movie. Hold on. Let's bring him back there. We lost you for a minute there. You back?
I was here the whole time.
Oh.
But they're just so darn expensive, and the aero is so important that you have to have the best body stuff on there, and um, you run the car so hard that you have to have all these fancy billet parts and all that they're just expensive.
Well, and one thing I've noticed between sprint cars and dirt late models is sprint cars, they look like sprint cars. They haven't really changed all that much over the decades, where the late models, if you just look at the bodies on them, the bodies now are all weird. The right side's kind of caved in behind
like
the
it's already been
right
wrecked.
front wheel. Yeah, it's all like contorted, all weird. Is how, I mean, why has the bodies gotten that way, and will they ever go back to looking like normal cars, or are they just going to get even weirder looking?
Let's get to Brian's thoughts on cost containment, and maybe he can answer some of those things along the way.
Well, part of the problem is you can't unlearn stuff. The dirt late model deal is actually a product, I think, of the NASCAR deal. When they went to this new car, they didn't need all the fabricators and engineers and guys that were building and fabricating these cars, because they basically just buy the pieces and bolt them together. So there's a whole bunch of guys now that are really smart, and they're out about now in the dirt late model crowd. And the bodies you're looking at, if you look at what the NASCAR cars look like 15, 20 years ago, that's where we're at. And incredibly smart people, innovative people that are now amongst the dirt late model sport.
So what's the answer as far as trying to keep costs down? Is there a way to keep costs down with dirt late model racing?
The only way to do it, and I've always said, take half the spoiler. We could do it between hot laps and qualifying. Wouldn't cost anybody a dime. The cars, I think, would drive better. They would go faster. They would be easier to race in a crowd. They proved that with the modifieds back in, I think, 2006 or 7. They went and that allowed us a 5-inch spoiler. It cut our engine life in half. And you couldn't race in a group because you'd get aero tight because of the weight behind the cars. A couple of years later, they took the spoiler away. Well, now we got faster. Now you could race in a crowd. Now I can run my motors twice as long between rebuilds. The late models, they could do that. Like I say, if you said, okay, after hot laps, okay, everybody go from an 8-inch to a 4-inch spoiler. Everybody could do it. Wouldn't cost them nothing. And it would, guys with motors like mine and all the regional guys that don't have these, 1,000 horsepower, 480 cubic inch wide bore motors. Now we're on the even playing field. But
Ryan and Ryan seem to think that eliminating part of the droop would make a significant difference.
There's too many ways around that. Me being an engineer, and it takes you about 15 minutes to figure out how they're running more drop now than what they were before the droop rule.
Right. And
there's ways of that and the geometry. Yeah. And all it does is it separates the guys that are really smart and have the backing, the engineers and the funding now get back. The guys that aren't smart enough to figure that out, now they get slower. So it makes the gap even worse.
So wouldn't all these engineers you're talking about, if you took away 4 inches off the spoiler, would they come up with a way to compensate for that?
Well, here's the thing. It's self-aligning, because we have these huge noses that are now 56 inches out in front of the car, and they're 9 feet wide. If you take the spoiler, now you have to shorten the nose and move the nose in to balance the car. So if you take the spoiler off the back, the rest of the front of the body will kind of conform in to get the balance. And it'll do that without any other rule.
And I kind of go back
you know,
to
and the other thing, you'll be able to see it. Well, you think about it back when to run UMP, we were at a 35-inch deck height with an 8-inch spoiler. You know, of course, we didn't have the cars rising up, which, but, you know, now we're at 40, 41 inches of deck height if they're measuring deck height. And on the racetrack, you know, even with the droop rule, you can be 56, 57 inches off the ground on the racetrack. But you take 4 inches of spoiler away and it's gone. And these cars are so aerodynamically stuck that we just have to kind of back up. We're getting to the point where I would bet if you put an old wedge car, you know, like 1982 era.
We were talking about that the other day.
I would bet that we're making more downforce more efficiently than those cars.
I'm sure.
And and Bob did a reset. Said, okay, we're done with this. Guys can't afford motors. You can't race. You can't see. They backed everything up, started over. Now all the little guys got back in because it was fun. You know, it was no fun if you got to go out there and run 15th or barely make the show. And if you're not having fun and not making money, why are you doing it? And I think a lot of guys are coming to that. And, you know, okay, I can go boating or golfing or camping and not spend as much money and still have fun.
Exactly.
So I think we got to do that to save racing.
So this it comes down to basically the UMP or whatever sanctioning body to make that rule. But what's going to I guess money became a big topic last week as far as, you know, if the money's coming in, nothing's going to change. But maybe once the numbers start dwindling, then the money starts going away. Maybe that's when their eyes will open up and see that maybe something needs to change.
Well, and I think you're seeing some of the big traveling teams that are pulling off the schedules. They're, you know, I just heard the other day, Chris Madden's retiring.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of guys that used to be the 5th to 20th place cars that are now not following the series or not racing, or they've retired or they've sold out. I think we're in for a collapse of the dirt late model stuff.
A reset, hopefully.
Which, you know, if they need to do a reset before the whole thing just collapses. And the thing I'm worried about is there appears to be a whole lot of free money in this streaming deal. And if they can have 25 cars show up that'll race like they're at the Daytona 500 and do it on a streaming program, they're happy. For some reason, apparently there's more money in that because you've seen places where they have 6 people in the stands and, you know, they're paying $25,000 to win.
Well, maybe, I mean, if they did have the shorter spoilers and the racing was a little bit better, then maybe that would even draw bigger numbers for people watching. But was making a few weeks ago the little, what is it, 5th mile track or something? I mean,
right.
I'm assuming the aero wasn't as big of a factor there, and that racing was pretty good.
It's better. I will tell you, even a place like Macon, aero is a factor. Anything over 35 mile an hour, the shape and the size of the cars, it's an effect.
Brian, I've been saying for a couple of years, and you listen to the post-race interviews, the podium finishers. I pulled up behind the leader and I picked up an aero push. Well, I swear to God, Brian, that aero push and dirt late model should never be mentioned in the same sentence.
Yeah, and you know, I went to the World and the Dirt Track World Championship last year, and it was kind of the first time in a while that I'd been with the upper echelon guys. And you can feel the next car in front of you a half a straightaway at Eldora in front of you. You can feel the air off that next car. So you can't even think about racing close. You know, you really have to understand what the wake does, where the wake is, how to avoid the wake. But to me, it's not that much fun anymore.
You have to be like Dale Earnhardt, be able to see the air.
Yeah.
You do, and you really. I mean, the guys are good at it now. You can see they really understand the air. Now I'll tell you this. I mean, the cars will go faster. We broke in the modified. We broke our own track record at Eldora last year. We're the only car there with no spoiler. Modifieds can run a 3-inch spoiler, and we were 0.6 faster than the field, and broke our own track record by 0.8, and with no spoiler.
Obviously,
And I've heard
Ruhlman
of
was
some guys.
obviously Ruhlman was cheating.
Well, it's funny. The year before, we had a spoiler we did. It was 3 inches tall on the left and 1 inch tall on the right. And that thing was good because it moved the center of pressure to the left rear.
Sure.
Return in, it had traction. They put a rule in that says now you can't have a taper spoiler.
The Ruhlman rule.
Anybody needs them. It was sitting on the shelf here.
Let's talk a little bit, I guess, about what you have planned for the rest of the year. You any upcoming late model shows you have kind of penciled in on your calendar for this year?
What we've kind of done this year is I put in all the races for all the different cars I have and where we'd like to go, and then we kind of pick a direction and look at the weather. And like next weekend, our plan is to take the Silver Crown and the USAC Sprint car and go to Port Royal and run both of those. This past weekend we ran the modified at Pittsburgh Thursday, the Sprint car at Lima on Friday. Tomorrow we're going to run the Sprint and the modified at Hartford, and then we got a customer's car to finish up here for the weekend. But we've just been kind of picking and choosing. We've still got the late model, the modified, the Sprint car, and the Silver Crown, and we're just going back to having fun. If it's someplace we want to go, we like to go, we'll go. If it's weather's iffy, we'll go somewhere else.
Brian, I think you've run a couple of mile tracks with the Silver Crown car. How was that?
Well, I don't have quite the motor I need to run the miles. The Silver Crown deal was a bucket list. Since I was a little kid, I wanted to run a USAC Silver Crown car at Eldora. And, I bought a Silver Crown car from Chad Kamenaugh that Bob Hampshire had built. I bought just a kind of used 360 motor from a East Coast USAC guy. So we're, Tim Engler told me we're about 200 horsepower shy of what the guys who are winning the races have. But, and I told him, I said, this is a bucket list deal, and my bucket's only so deep. But, we made the show at Eldora. We made the show at Terre Haute. Actually, we made every show we went to. We made DuQuoin. We made Springfield. But, it's I think I've fulfilled what I wanted to do with that. We ran top 5 at Eldora with the Silver Crown there the year before, and made the show with the Sprint and the Silver Crown at the 4 Crown race. So we'll probably finish up the year with the Silver Crown and then maybe let that go and decide to do something else.
Any have you run
I'm
any?
Thinking maybe a wing sprint car, but
doing a Jimmy McEwen thing there.
Well, it's one of those things. I've never run a wing car. I never really had an interest, but it's like, maybe it's something I'd like to try. You got Butler right down the road from us here, and if I don't like, I can say I did it and sell it and do something else. So,
I understand you've lost
4 years old here, so.
I understand you've lost a little bit of weight, so a wing sprint car might not be too bad of a deal.
Yeah. So we're down about 50 pounds so far, but
the race car appreciates that.
Definitely helped. Yeah.
Ron Miller making weight jokes here. I mean, come on, man.
Yes, congratulations. Brian's doing well.
No, I think that'd be awesome seeing you in a winged sprint car. But back to the Silver Crown thing. Have you run any asphalt races like Winchester or anything like that?
No. See, the bad thing about that, they're 2 totally different race cars.
Okay.
And even just to run like stuff, you have to have, somebody to run the starting cart, somebody to run a spotter, because they have radios, somebody to push you off. And it's just Veronica and I, and we're really understaffed, to go out and do that and be serious about it. Like I say, we did it. We made the shows. We've moved forward in every race we're in. Haven't turned it over. So I'd say we're probably close to mission accomplished on that one.
So the wing sprint car, would this be next year possibly if it happens?
Oh, I don't know. I mentioned it, and Veronica kind of piped up and said absolutely not. But talked about a non-wing car, and when you talk to the wing guys, and they say, "Well, the non-wing guys are crazy." Well, I'm telling you, the non-wing sprint car is the most fun to have in a race car. 900 horsepower, 1,200 pounds, all the traction you could have, and no downforce.
I think Danny Schlink has
more respect for them.
I think Danny Schlink has made the same comments to Rusty about the wing sprint cars.
Well, that's what they say. They think the wing cars are safer, but I think any of them. Hell, I think Rusty turned his late model over more than I've turned my sprint car over.
Well, those wings, that's more of it gives you a little bit of a crush
Yes,
zone
a cushion,
when you get upside down.
Well, I don't know. There's so many, so many things that, I had one wreck one flip where, it didn't, you look at the rewind of it, and it's like, oh, that didn't even look impressive, and I broke my back.
Oh,
and the one at Eldora, 6 times over and over, got out of there, and my hip had been bothering me that morning. Apparently I slept on it wrong. I got out of the sprint car after that, and it's like, hey, my hip's good now.
So if you did do the wing sprint car thing, would you just convert the non-wing, or would you start with a whole new car?
I think I would start with a different car. What I'd like to do, find somebody who wants to buy a dirt late model operation and swap me for a sprint car.
There's an awful lot of that going around, Brian.
Well, that's what I hear.
And that brings us back to the very start of the show.
Now, and Brian, you've run some street stock events. I think you ran one at what was Spartan Speedway, but changed its name. Yeah. Any thoughts of stepping down even further to maybe a super stock, street stock, or even a compact?
No. If I did anything, I would probably run the modified and the sprint car, the non-wing sprint car. Those are, it's all driver. You go out there and you watch, the Justin Grants and the CJ Learys and the Robert Balloos, and it amazes me how much car control they have, and how difficult, knowing how difficult these things are to drive. You are on the edge of control at every moment. And, I'm probably a little more timid than some of the younger guys because, I know at this age when you do that, it hurts a lot longer.
Yeah.
And I've told Veronica, she said, oh, you drove, you weren't going very fast out there. And I said, I'm going to go as fast as what I'm comfortable with. And that's it. If it's running up front, great. If it's running in the back, that's what's going to happen. I don't have to run up front in the USAC race. I'm doing this for fun. So if we can run well, that's even better.
When she makes a comment like that, just hand her the steering wheel.
The bad thing is, Ron, I don't know if you know or not, she used to drive.
Really?
And I had a guy come up to me. Yeah, she's probably going to kill me if she hears this on the thing, but I had a guy to me about 4 years ago at I-96. He says, you're dating the best figure 8 driver in Michigan. And I looked at her and I said, you never told me you raced figure 8. So, yeah, I guess she had the reputation of figure 8 drivers in Michigan. And she raced Butler on dirt. She raced farting on asphalt. So yeah, she was quite the badass back in the day.
That's pretty cool.
We might have to get her on the show.
Yeah.
Talk about her racing. Brian, we got to wrap things up here pretty quick. But who's your pick to win this year's World 100 or the Dream? I'm sorry, I'm moving ahead.
Gosh, I don't even know anymore. I haven't been following that very good. You got Pierce and Ricky Thornton and Davenport. They're about good anywhere they go. So, it's. I would say they're at the top of the heap.
It would be really hard to bet against Thornton.
Well, or any of those
RTJ.
three, really. Those are the three.
Yeah.
Probably the best. They're top three right there.
And the same thing, like I said about the USAC drivers, watching those guys run side by side and on the cushion and up against the wall and how precise they are. It's not just luck. I mean, they have superior car control, and they're smart. They got good crew people. It'd be hard to bet against those guys, but you got to be lucky too.
All right. Well, do you have any sponsors other than, of course, Ruhlman Race Cars you want to give a shout out to? And then how can people get a hold of you at Ruhlman Race Cars should they need a late model or something?
Yeah, I mean, we still sell all the parts. We do the repairs and everything. Just look us up on Facebook or on the website there. And as far as sponsors, we did pick up a new one this year, Superior Industrial Sales and Service in Jackson. They do generators and forklifts and that kind of stuff. And then we got Ted Brown, Quality Paint and Body, which they're good friends of ours. We hang out with them down in Florida. And, we just became friends. And I said, hey, give me a decal. And he ends up, shoots me a little money if we win once in a while. And we get to hang out with him down in Florida. So other than that, it's
Ruhlman Race Cars.
Just whatever we have and whatever we. Yeah. So.
All right, one more question, I guess, here. I lied to you. I had one more question. Any thoughts, has any thoughts about retirement entered your mind at this point, at least from racing? Or is that something you haven't even really thought about?
Say no, Brian.
Not really. I don't know what I would do. I talked about it, a while back. I said, if I retired, Veronica says, well, what would you do? I said, I'd probably just go out to the shop and work on race cars. And she says, that's what you do now. I said, well, I guess I'm already retired then. I guess in a serious note, I've had a lot of friends here in the last 3-4 years just pass away that are my age or younger. And, as long as I can still do it, as long as it's still fun. The day it's not fun anymore or I can't do it, then, we'll figure out what to do next. But
that's exactly
as long as I
right.
can take care of my stuff, then we should be all right.
I was going to say, it sounds very familiar. It's a exact same thing Ron always says.
That's it.
As long as I can still do it and it's still fun.
Yeah. I mean, how old are you now, Ron? Probably about 97? Or...
Brian, I turned 77 2 weeks ago.
And I a day over 80.
Thanks, man. Seriously, I still enjoy the racing. So I don't know. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yep. Same here.
All right, Brian. We appreciate the time. Always great talking to you, and good luck this weekend. Where are you at again this weekend?
We're going to Hartford tomorrow.
That's right.
The sprint car and the.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend and for the rest of the year.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
We'll see you. There you go. Brian Ruhlman.
Ruhlman Race Cars.
Yeah. We'll pop that back on so we don't have to look at my psychedelic camera there. It's kind of crazy. You did have some. It comes back to the aero thing with the dirt late models.
It does.
What do you think about the spoiler idea he has?
Anything is worth exploring. You know, Brian has done some experimenting, obviously, with his modified. And,
tapered.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's played with that on his late model.
Interesting. Hashtag DCR for a chance to win that custom car design, virtual car design, I should say, for the Hammer Down Racing, dirt track racing computer game. We'll draw for that winner at the end. That's a $20 value, courtesy of DCR Graphics. Got to mention Dominator Race Products. They have what you need to be in the winner's circle. Dominator with 30 years of experience to put you out front. Check out the plastic color match late model rear spoilers. As a matter of fact, maybe they can start making 4-inch spoilers.
Yeah.
An easy swap kind of deal.
Or maybe even a tapered spoiler.
Well, you and your tapers. They have the ultimate body panels, hood scoops, radiator, fan shrouds, hood pins, dashboards, pretty much anything. You could build a car out of all Dominator's products there. You can order direct at DominatorRaceProducts.com or give them a call, 419-923-6970. Dominator Race Products also available from your local reputable race shops. Also got to mention Victory Fuel, that refreshing and natural hydration alternative that replenishes electrolytes.
There it is.
Packed with vitamins, providing a boost for athletes, individuals, and talk people, and race shop workers.
Yeah.
Pretty much anybody.
Kid friendly, too.
Victory Fuel is a perfect way to stay hydrated and energized throughout the day, being free of added coloring. There's no caffeine. There's no carbonation. It's a great kid-friendly drink. You can get yours today online at drinkvictory.com, and be sure to use Domination or discount code Domination or Conley Racing, all one word, and you'll save 10% off, and you'll help fuel their race program. And I believe with Ohio Sprint Speed Week coming up, it's going to be available, I think, at most of those, if not all.
Yeah.
Thought I saw a post, so you can get it at your local track. Oakshade, I believe Fremont has it. Zatica have it out there? I'm not sure if they do or not.
I think I saw Victory.
I know they
Victory Lane.
Victory Lane.
And the drivers had it.
It's becoming available more and more places, but
Right.
To guarantee you can get it, just visit drinkvictory.com. Also got to mention Dittman Motorsports, the official Hoosier Racing tire dealer of Northwest Ohio. Any kind of race car service you need, bodies, parts, call today, 419-283-8580. That is Ron Miller Race Cars East, otherwise known as Dittman Motorsports.
Yeah. Good people.
Good. Craig was very helpful with my setup on Saturday.
Oh.
I didn't really get a chance to test it out because the track got all wet, but, what can you do? We have a little bit of racing news to do before we give away some Big D's Pizza and that thing, the Hammer Down Racing computer game design, car design, we'll give away momentarily. I'm stalling while I hit this button.
Latest racing news.
I-96 Speedway has announced the Four Cylinders Unleashed will be coming up on Friday, June 14th. That's a week from tomorrow. It'll pay $500 to win. You have to bring your track rules and be legal by your track rules. Kind of like what they did last week for the stock cars.
Right.
Bring your own track
2-barrel
rules.
versus 4-barrel.
Yeah. I think they only had like 14 cars that showed up for that, though. I would have been there, but I had prior commitment, unfortunately. As Brian mentioned earlier here tonight, Chris Madden has announced that he will be stepping back from full-time competition after the conclusion of the 2024 racing season. Throughout his decorated career, Madden has accumulated over 250 feature wins, secured 9 championship titles. He began running dirt late models back in 1995 at the age of 20. Madden, now 49, will persist in chasing his coveted first World of Outlaws Late Model Series championship this season before transitioning to a condensed racing schedule in 2025, comprising roughly 6 to 10 events, which will be announced at a later date. Sounds like a Brian Ruhlman kind of thing, cutting back.
Scott, I'm seeing a disturbing trend there. I really am.
Per the NASCAR rulebook, Kyle Larson is required to run every NASCAR race to remain eligible for playoff competition. However, Hendrick Motorsports applied for a waiver, and after a long deliberation, I guess you call it. It was finally approved this past Tuesday. NASCAR officials granted Kyle Larson a waiver on Tuesday to restore his eligibility for the Cup Series playoffs, according to a NASCAR release. Quote, "We didn't take it lightly," Elton Sawyer, senior vice president of competition, said Tuesday. "There was a lot of discussion internally. We ultimately landed at giving Kyle a waiver. Essentially, our decision-making was, although we had the inclement weather in Indianapolis as well as Charlotte, Kyle made every attempt to get to Charlotte. He was standing in the pit box with his helmet on and ready to go. Unfortunately, we had weather in Charlotte as well, and unfortunately not able to get the race going again. That's how we landed on our decision," unquote.
He did everything humanly possible.
And also, how can you have the playoffs without Kyle Larson?
Yeah.
That's like saying, Michael Jordan, no, you missed a game back in, this would have been early 90s.
Yeah,
and yes, I'm dating myself.
He sprained an ankle.
Well, no, he didn't sprain an ankle. He just, he sat out a game. You can't play in the playoffs now. And finally, Pernelli Jones passed away of natural causes on Tuesday at the age of 90. He was the 1963 Indy 500 winner. And that is it for racing news. A couple more bills to pay before we do some Big D's Pizza giveaway. The entire month of June, new copy here for Magic Moment Entertainment DJ service. The entire month of June, if you mention the Hammer Down Racing Report, you'll get $100 off his regular price again. So now we don't have to win. The pressure is off of us.
Right.
Last month we had to win to get that $100 off. So if you just mention the Hammer Down Racing Report when you book a wedding reception, you'll get $100 off. Magic Moment Entertainment is a national award-winning DJ service that's been in business for over 30 years. If your ceremony is in the same venue as your wedding, reception, there is no additional charge to play ceremony music. Ron works with contracts, carries liability insurance. He's got no charge for mileage or dance floor lighting. That's all included. He covers the entire states of Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, and Kentucky. For more information, give him a call, 419-594-2261, or visit Magic Moment Entertainment or Ohio Sports Blitz on Facebook. Currently, he's booking weddings for 2024, 2025, and 2026. And again, don't forget to mention the Hammer Down Racing Report to get $100 off.
So if somebody's booking a wedding for 2026, they could get the $100 off?
If they book it in June and mention it in June.
Right.
Yes, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I should have made that
That's
more
a good
clear.
deal.
And he also, he gave us a little note there that said, because you keep talking about his DJing in...
If he wants to go to Australia
to do that, because we have a lot of Australian listeners, he
do.
will do that. But there's some caveats there.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over the caveats real quick?
Scott, he said that, yes, Ron Miller, I will book weddings in Australia for the same rate as he charges in Ohio.
So you can save $100 off if you mention the Hammer Down Racing Report, even in
Person
Australia.
hiring me also has to pay for my Australian work permit at $416. You pay the round-trip business class so I can have extra legroom, gourmet meals, and adult beverages. He wants to fly into Sydney from Detroit Metro starting at $3,944. And I believe that might even be one way. I'm not sure because Alan Blake has been...
Well, maybe he's not coming back. I don't know.
I don't know. The airfare subject to change. You also have to rent DJ gear from Sound Company in Australia, plus power converters he needs to run his computer.
They have different plugs down there?
Oh, they absolutely
I did not realize that.
Scott, everything they do is 220 volt instead of 110.
That'll give you a nice zap.
Yeah. So once in Australia, the contacted party will also pay 4 nights and in a 4-star hotel, 3 meals a day and beverages. All fees must be paid before he leaves. With this, you'll get a great professional wedding DJ that will keep your party going. He says, ladies, he's also cuddly. So there. Our Australian friends.
There you go.
You can get a Yankee DJ.
If you get deep pockets there. Oh, yeah. No Hammer Down hotline, surprisingly, this week. 419-318-3081. If you want to call or text, leave us a message. Let us know what's on your mind, racing related.
Give us your thought on the issues with dirt late models.
Yeah. No calls from last week, but there you go. That's the number you can call or text. And let's just move on to how many and give away some Big D's pizza.
How many?
So last week's how many was, and this is because I didn't have it written out on the screen, and I had said how many High Limit Racing Series drivers would be at Butler on Saturday. Well, they were there. They just didn't race.
Right.
So I went with 28 that were there on Saturday. So I went with that number. But also, since they didn't race, everybody that said 0, I also put them in. So we're just going to spin them all on the Big D's pizza wheel. Yeah.
Ooh, that'll be a big wheel.
It wasn't as big as you think it would have been, but because they did run it on Sunday then and had, I think they had a little over 30 cars on Sunday. But we're going to spin the Big D's pizza wheel to determine this week's winner. So let's bring that up on the screen. So there you go. We got Brian Hammer, Gretchen Knapp, Cheryl Desgrange, Dale Cole Jr., and Matt Swander. Those are the folks that are eligible to win. So
were those zeros or were
there were? Oh, actually, I can tell you. Dale Cole Jr. said 27. He was closest for that 28 number, and then the rest are all zeros. So here we go.
Good job, Dale.
Good job, Dale. Are you rooting for him? It's not. I don't think it's coming back around to him.
Oh.
I think it's going to be Gretchen Knapp. Case on it. Congratulations, Gretchen. You have a Big D's Pizza, 30 days to claim your pizza. And I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about, there's, never mind. We'll just leave it at nothing. I had removed the wrong thing from the What am I doing?
I don't know. You're pushing buttons.
I am. There we go. We're back to where we're supposed to be. But we'll have some news on Big D's Pizza coming up. But we'll still be giving away Big D's Pizza.
Oh, cool.
So that'll still be happening. So, speaking of which, for us, I didn't even write down what we guessed. I didn't even determine who.
I went one under you.
Did you? What did we say? We said, and John was here last week. He said 35, so he was technically closest. Either way, to the 28 or to the 0. You said 37, I said 38, so you get to go first to pick this week's.
No, John has to go first.
Well, he's not here, so he didn't bring donuts this week.
He's listening.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
He didn't bring donuts. Huh. Okay.
So anyway.
Yes, I can. I can talk about what's going on with Big D's.
Okay. He said you can.
Okay.
That makes it official. Dean said yes.
Apparently, he's selling it. It's changing ownership. He's still going to be involved with it.
Really?
But, yeah. Other than that, everything should stay the same. Still the same great pizza.
Okay. And we're still giving away the same great pizza?
We're still giving away the same great pizza.
Wonderful.
Yeah. There you go. All right. This week's how many? And how many? Oh, next week we're getting donuts, apparently. This week's how many is this is another math problem one, and I did type this one out for you because I figured people would have questions. Here you go. Ohio Sprint Speed Week's starting up, right?
Yep.
First 3 shows this weekend: Attica, Fremont, Waynesfield. So how many are going to be there total? So how many Friday plus how many Saturday at Fremont plus how many Sunday at Waynesfield? So say there's 30 at each one, then your guess would be 90. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think the weather's not going to be an issue this weekend, is it?
Saturday, maybe.
Oh.
But
Ron Miller playing the spoiler again.
But, no.
No?
The rain Saturday, and
it's not going to rain Saturday. What are you talking about?
It is. But
we'll get to that forecast later. What's your guess?
Well, we want to let the listeners know.
Steve guessed 105.
If it rains Saturday, it's going to be 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock. Yeah, there you go again, Scott.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, the number is 128. Take it to the bank.
128? What is that? That's over 40 a night. That's 43, 40. I can't do that.
Take it to the bank.
128, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to say 129 then. I mean 127.
Oh, you already said
127. I wrote down 127.
No, you can't do that.
I wrote
That's
down
cheating.
127. 127 it is.
That's like changing it on the screen. That doesn't work.
But I wrote down 127. How about this? I'm going to go with 107. Is that acceptable?
Ooh.
Is that acceptable? Can I do that?
Sure.
All right, 107 for me. If you want a chance to win Big D's Pizza, put your guess in the comments of the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live. You have until, we'll say 4 or 5 tomorrow. When the gates open tomorrow? They open at 4, so we'll say 4 o'clock.
Okay.
4 o'clock Friday Eastern Time. You can put your guess in the comments of the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live. It'll still be up on our Facebook page or the YouTube page. You can only guess once. If you guess more than once or change your guess, you will get black flagged. That's over there. We have the flag. So there you go. We'll find out who wins a Big D's Pizza next week. In the meantime, let's check out our Big D's Pizza racing menu for this week.
This weekend's Big D's Pizza racing menu.
Tonight, Eldora. It's the Dirt Late Model Dream Weekend. That kicks off with double features for late models tonight. There's 2 groups. I guess there's a Thursday and Friday group, so same show tonight. Well, same show, but different cars.
Split the field in half.
That starts about 7 minutes ago, so we're going to hurry up and wrap up. Friday night, Limaland Motorsports Park, back in action with the K&L Ready Mix Ron Colley Memorial. It's not Ron Cale, it's Ron Colley. I learned that while I was down there. That's going to feature the Great Lakes Super Sprints, UMP Modifieds, Thunderstocks, and the Dirt Track Truck Series. I'm not sure about the Dirt Track Truck Series. I might have just left that in there from last week. Now I'm questioning myself on that one. We'll get that verified from producer Dave. But
Producer Dave's watching Eldora.
He probably is. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:30. General admission $12. That I do know for sure at Limaland tomorrow night. Attica Raceway Park. Ohio Laborers, Ohio Cat Night, Bert and Bridget Emick Classic, Ohio Sprint Speed Week night.
Right.
It's all that stuff. Fast 410s in action, as well as the late models, just the 2 classes. Gates open at 4, racing at 7:45, general admission $25. That kicks off Ohio Sprint Speed Week. Eldora back in action again tomorrow night with the double features for the late models. Gates open at 2 tomorrow afternoon, racing at 8 o'clock, general admission $35 there at Eldora on Friday. Saturday, Flat Rock, school bus figure 8 night with school bus figure 8s, the Outlaw Super late models, and figure 8s. Gates open at 4:30, racing at 7, general admission $23. Yeah, I that was my mistake, Dave. Sorry about that. Yeah, no Dirt Track Truck Series at Limaland on Friday. That was left over from last week.
Thank you, David.
Eldora Speedway, that's, of course, the big one.
Yep.
The Dream that pays $100,030 to win. Gates open at 2, racing at 8 o'clock on Saturday, $45 general admission at Eldora. Angola Motorsports Park on Saturday. It's a Fab 4 show with the late models, modified street stocks, front wheel drives. Gates open at 3, racing at 7, general admission $15. Fremont Speedway, Kistler Race Products, $10,000 Ohio Sprint Speed Week night. Fast 410s there, 305s, and the dirt truck. So basically a full show at Fremont. Gates open at 4, racing at 7, general admission $30. Oakshade Raceway, full show, double features for the Sportsman and Compacts. Late models, DCR Graphic Sportsman, Dominator Super Stocks, Compacts, all in action. Gates open at 4, racing at 7:30, general admission $15. And finally on Saturday, Butler Motor Speedway, 410 sprints, street stocks, UMP modifieds, and 4 cylinders. Gates open at 4, racing at 7:30. General admission $15 there as well. And then Sunday, Waynesfield Raceway Park, Ohio Sprint Speed Week, night number 3 with the Fast 410s. USAC Midwest Thunder Midgets also in action, as well as the Ohio Thunder Receiver Sprints. Ooh. So all open wheel show Sunday at Waynesfield. Gates open at 3, racing at 6. General admission is $25. How's the weather looking, Mr. Weekend Weather?
Well, obviously guy? Thursday night is looking just great.
A little windy, although the wind just seemed to have stopped all of a sudden.
Friday, I think, is going to be just fine, Scott. Like I said earlier, Saturday, pretty much every place in Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan, could be looking at some rain, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Sunday's going to be fine.
Sunday's going to be, so Saturday's the only day we should keep an eye out on things?
Yeah.
I'm double checking you. I'm double checking your work.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I do my homework.
Son of a bitch, you're not wrong. Cooler feel continues into the weekend, partly sunny and dry for much of the day with isolated late day showers, mainly north of Toledo. Evening, a few isolated showers possible. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Maybe some thunder boomers.
Other series action this weekend, the Kubota High Limit Racing Series running the Race Routine Foundation race on Friday and Saturday at I-70 Speedway in Missouri, and Eagle Nationals at Eagle Raceway in Nebraska on Tuesday, June 11th. The World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series Don Mac Classic at River City Speedway in North Dakota. That happens tomorrow night, Friday night, June 7th, and the Big O Showdown at Ogilvie Raceway in Minnesota on Saturday, June 8th. NASCAR Action Xfinity Series Zip Buy Now, Pay Later 250 at Sonoma Raceway over in California. That's Saturday. That'll be at 8 o'clock on FS1, 8 p.m. that is. The NTT IndyCar Series, the Expel Grand Prix at Road America in Wisconsin. That'll be Sunday at 3:30 on NBC. And also at 3:30 on Fox will be the Toyota Save Mart 350 for the NASCAR Cup Series at Sonoma Raceway. Ohio Sprint Speed Week continues on next week. Monday, they're at Wayne County Speedway. June 10th, it's Hilltop Speedway. June 11th, then it's Sharon Speedway. Wednesday, it's Muskegon Speedway and Muskegon County Speedway on Thursday. Yeah. And then Friday, a week from tomorrow, Millstream.
Ooh,
Millstream Speedway. And speaking of that, Matt and Beth are going to make time for us next Thursday. We'll be checking in with the owners of Millstream Speedway, talking about getting ready for that first show.
I'll bet that's exciting for them.
So, and Dirt Car Nationals starting up on Wednesday, June 12th, at Peoria Speedway in Illinois. Summer Nationals. Already starting. It's crazy. That is it for your Big D's Pizza Racing menu. Let's give away this.
Hashtag DCR.
Yeah, the game car design, late model or modified, your choice. We're going to draw. If you haven't done hashtag DCR in the comments of our Facebook Live or the YouTube Live, this is your last chance. Do it now. That's but only if you're interested in actually playing a video game and having a custom car made for this video game. Because
I know that winning on our show is cool.
It is cool, and you'll be the envy of all your friends. But in this case, there's only a few of these, and if you're not really serious about it, then either give it to one of your friends that is, or don't enter. So here we go. We have 14 entries this week to get a 1 in 14 shot. I'm waiting for it to click up to 15. Should I keep waiting, or should I just draw?
Oh, go ahead.
Here we go.
Hit the button.
All right, you're too late if you haven't entered yet. Final one. This is it for a modified or a late model. You're going to get your very own late model or modified virtually in a video game.
Boom.
Yep. Oops. Who's it going to be? It's going to be James David. Congratulations, Mr. James David. You are the winner of a late model or modified, your choice, custom car design for the Hammer Down Racing, dirt track racing.
Looks
whatever.
like a Dominator Super Stock to me, but I could be wrong.
Well, he could probably design that into a modified or a late model. He actually did that to my car.
Yeah.
It looked pretty cool as a late model.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm going to have to get a late model. So congratulations there, James David. I'll have Dale get a hold of you from DCR Graphics. And that is about it for this. And there's that camera is bugging me. I don't know what's going on with the camera. I turned it on tonight and it was
got some work to do there.
Zombieware. It works fine everywhere else. It's just in this, for some reason, it's messed up. So we'll get that figured out in time for next week's show. Thanks to associate producer Dave Kammer, contributors John Young, Matt Swander, Bob Stazak. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Follow us on YouTube. Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Megaphone. That's another one. Check us out at hammerdownracingreport.com, and those of you in the Hammerdown Army, don't forget to submit your results at hammerdownracingreport.com. Click on the Hammerdown Army each week, and we'll report on those. And if you want to be part of the Hammerdown Army, all you need to do is slap a Hammerdown Racing Report window sticker on your race car, take a picture of it, send it to us, and you'll be recruited into the Army. You can get those from DCR Graphics, $5. He'll mail them to you, or he'll give it to you at the track, whatever works out best for you. Thanks to our sponsors, DCR Graphics, Dominator Race Products, Oakshade Raceway, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Dipman Motorsports, Magic Moment Entertainment, and of course, Victory Fuel. And thanks to Brian Ruhlman for being our guest this week. Very informative, even though we had a little bit of a delay between things.
I didn't understand that, but he's quite a ways north.
Digital stuff. I blame the internet. Again, next week I was speaking with Matt and Beth Cogley, the owners of Millstream Speedway.
That's cool.
As they prepare for the grand reopening of Millstream Speedway there in Findlay. So that'll be next Thursday, 7 o'clock. We'll see you then. Brian, is it time for dinner?
It's time for dinner.
All right. We'll see you next week. Get out and support your local track, or several of them, because you get racing every day this weekend.
Every day.
There you go.
All week.
And all week next week. We're out. We'll see you.
Thanks, folks.
You have been listening to the Hammerdown Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.